Hi guys. So what this video is for is I'm going to attempt to give you guys all the feedback for paper 4 and also go over the remaining assignments for the rest of the semester. It should take us a while to get through all of this, so bear with me. This video is replacing class for Monday, so as long as you've watched this video and you're all caught up on your assignments, then you shouldn't have to come to class Monday. The only reason anyone should have to come to class on Monday is if they are behind and they need to catch up on stuff. So let's go over paper 4 first, and then we will look at the rewrites, the presentation, and the final exam. First of all, paper 4. A lot of these turned out really good, and especially, yeah, a lot of them turned out really good. There's a few of them I haven't quite gotten to yet. If I haven't gotten to yours yet, it's probably because I think it's really good, and I'll try to get to it tomorrow. So, I should have those done by then. Some main issues that came up over and over again. Most of these are going to have to do with paragraph arrangement and the use of sources. Okay, so first of all, the main paragraph structure. This was one that people messed up a lot, and I'll go over this again, but we've been over this a couple of times already. Every paragraph needs all 4 of these parts here. Every body paragraph anyway. So not the intro and the conclusion, but all the body paragraphs need to have topic sentences, elaboration, evidence, and explanation. And I'll try to explain a little better why that is this time. Your topic sentence is the point that you're making about that paragraph. Whatever thing it is that you're going to discuss for the whole paragraph is in the topic sentence, whatever the subject is. And then elaboration is where you take that subject and you explain it as thoroughly as you can. And all of this is in your own words, and all of this is should be designed for whoever your audience is. In this case, other students in the class and myself, people that don't necessarily know anything about your field of study. And then, and so all of those parts need to be things that you've come up with in your own words. The evidence then is the next part, and that's where you bring in something from a expert or an article or a study or whatever to support whatever it is that you're saying. Whether you're doing informative stuff or not, you need to have at least one piece of evidence. You can have a lot of evidence. Some of you guys tried to kind of write this like you were writing a more academic article where you cram a whole bunch of facts from a whole bunch of places into each one of your paragraphs. That's fine. And we'll talk about how you can cite those and source them later and stuff. But you need at least one piece of evidence for every one of these. And then more explanation in your own words to unpack whatever your evidence said and wrap up your paragraph. You need all of these parts in there. All of these things, the elaboration, explanation, and evidence, you can have multiple parts of those. You can have lots of evidence. But these are the components that every paragraph needs, because this is showing your thought process. This is showing that you've learned something. If you can put something in your own words, it means you've learned it. And if you can back it up with evidence, it means that what you're saying is based on something. So that's what this is all designed for. And so that's why I get really critical if all you've done is quoted an article, or all you've done is topic sentence and then a bunch of your own words. Because those times, you're not actually showing your thought process. You're not showing that what you're saying is based on stuff, or you're not showing that you actually know what something means. If you just stick a quote in there, or you just rewrite, you just paraphrase what a part of an article says, that doesn't mean that you know what it's talking about. Part of the idea of this, you want to actually learn the subject that you're talking about. Some of you were more successful than others. Some of the material you were using was really dense, and that's, not your fault. But either way, you need to be able to explain in your own words what each concept that you're talking about is and then you need to be able to back it up with something. So if you didn't have all the parts of those paragraphs, I put in a lot of notes that said add topic sentences or add evidence, and you just need to go back and find something to support that. So, yeah, make sure that you get those fixed up. Missing sources. If you didn't have sources for a paragraph, then it's not really a research paper. And then if a paragraph doesn't have it, then that's just your opinion for that paragraph. If your paper doesn't have sources, then the whole paper is just dreamed up by you, and I don't know where the information came from. The information has to come from somewhere. It can't just be out of your own mind, right? So if you're missing any sources, then I probably told you to go and find some, or go and find the ones that you were using when you were writing, and make sure that you put them in. And if you wrote a paper with no sources, a couple of people did, then, again, that's not a research paper, because you didn't do any research. So, ways to cite for evidence. Evidence, again, key for a research paper. The typical way that we're citing stuff in here is we give the author, maybe the title, and explain who they are, what they're talking about. So yeah, so author, so here we would have an article. This is our title, Pizza, Pineapple and You. Bill Jones is our author. Here's what he does, here's why he has credibility, and then here's what he said. Pineapple is the worst topping on pizza. The combination of sweet and savory is more. That's kind of like how a lot of your pieces of evidence are in there. We want to have, we want to say where it came from, the article, what it's talking about, show what the evidence is about, so that we can show that we actually got it from somewhere credible that knows what they're talking about, right? It doesn't have to be a quote, could be a summary, could be a paraphrase, whatever. If you were doing like I said up here, and you were trying to cram a whole bunch of different facts into a paragraph, and you didn't have enough space to do this like 6 different times, that's fine. You can just drop in a bunch of in-text citations like this one. This one, I've shortened that whole thing up here down to just one sentence, and I've dropped in the author's name at the end. And if the readers want to go and find out more about that, they can go and find it. And you could put like 5 or 6 of these in a row without it taking up too much space in your paragraph, without it getting too redundant or inorganic. The in-text citations will look different depending on which citation style you're using. But if you want to cram a lot of facts into a paragraph, you can do it this way. But if you want to use one article and go into a lot of detail about it, you'd want to do it this way. What you don't want to do, you want to set up your articles. You don't want to just say an article says, and then drop in a quote or something like that. A lot of people were doing that this time. You're not really helping yourself that much. A lot of you guys were trying to find things to talk about in your papers. An easy thing to talk about is who wrote the article and why. That's not going to take you very long to figure out, and it'll make your paper longer and better. So, yeah, elaborate, like we said in the first paper, by giving us more of this information. Don't just ever say, an article says, and then give a quote. Because, yeah, the article could come from anywhere. Another piece of feedback, this is really important. Don't just change the words of a paper and try to pass it off as your own writing. Because if you've changed the words, but the ideas are still someone else's, and especially if you don't understand everything that they're talking about, then that's not your paper. That's the other person's paper with, different words. So, yeah, Few people got in trouble for that this time. As long as they cited it, then they get the chance to fix it, but if they didn't, then that's a different story. But, yeah, this is a kind of plagiarism if you do this. One reason that we have this paragraph style, again, is because it's showing your thought process, and it's showing that you are taking all of this information in, putting it together in your own way, coming up with your own reasons, and supporting them yourself. If you're doing it this way, then you're just going to be repeating a bunch of information that you found from somewhere, and you aren't necessarily learning it, you aren't necessarily, you're just regurgitating it, and you're doing it in a way that honestly is just designed to fool the system. If you ever find yourself just trying to fool the system, then you're not doing this correctly. It doesn't matter what the system says. What matters is it your own writing or not? Okay, last thing, your sources need to match what you're talking about. There was a few times here where I read paragraphs that would say the paragraph argues one thing, and then the source is talking about something completely different. Pineapple is the most disgusting thing that goes on pizza. An article by Bill Jones says that deep dish is the best kind of pizza on the planet. Something like that. You need to be able to find sources that say the same thing that you do. And if you don't have sources like that, you're doing something wrong. The step where we went back and we tried to find points that we could support from our resources, the reason we did that was so that wouldn't happen. So that we wouldn't end up trying really hard to find information in our sources to support what we were saying and ultimately failing. Instead, you want to make sure that before you start writing, the first thing that you do is you make sure that your sources say what you're going to say in some place. Okay. So, if you have any questions about this, I'll be able to answer them on Monday, or you can send me an email if you want to know right now. You have 2 weeks to turn in your final draft for this paper. I made it due December 5th. Yeah, so a week after the Monday when we come back from Thanksgiving is when those will be due. You can turn it in before then, that's fine. You could turn this in tonight if you want to. But yeah, make sure that you have it in by December 5th, and then I'll have those all graded for you pretty quickly. So there's 2 more assignments to talk about. One is the presentation assignment, the other is the take-home final exam. We'll do the presentation first. So next week, the last 2 days of class that we are in class, that is the 28th and the 30th, I believe. 28th and 30th. What we're going to do is we're going to have presentations in class. What you will do is you will take the content of your paper and you'll make a PowerPoint or other kind of presentation. Whatever the one is that zooms in and out is fine. Any of those are fine. And then you will present the information from your paper to the class. So, include information about the content of your research paper. Use at least 5 to 7 slides with pictures and text. Your presentations should take 5 to 7 minutes. Be prepared to present on Monday, not Tuesday. Let me change that. Yeah, Monday. So, for this presentation, what you need to do, the main part of your presentation should be this part here. Give a brief rundown of the information in your paper, including your thesis, your points, and some of the evidence that you found. Whatever you found most interesting, whatever the audience will find most interesting. Next, you will talk about what you were trying to accomplish in your research process. What's the most interesting thing you found out? This could be something that you already mentioned, but go into more detail about it here. Anything that you found in your research that really stood out and was cool and interesting, you can talk about. And what gave you the most difficulty on your project? This should cover both the topic and research. So, I don't really care. This isn't a speech class, so if you want to, you can write everything down on note cards and look at the note cards the entire time and not talk to everyone, not look at everyone. That's fine. If you want to, you could record this presentation ahead of time and turn it in, and I'll just play it for everybody. That's fine as well. The main thing here, though, is that I want everyone to get to learn from each other's presentations and from each other's papers. I want everyone else to be exposed to the subjects that everyone learned about. That's an important part of this, because the paper is about interesting things happening in your field of study, and if somebody did that, learned they didn't like their field of study and wanted to change, maybe they will go to your field of study. Or if, you know, one of the medical students in one class learns one set of things and another can learn another set of things, this way we can all share information. I hope that makes sense. So Monday and Wednesday we will be doing that. That's what we'll be doing in class. That's the last in-class project that you will have. This will be worth 33% of your paper grade for paper 4. And then last part is the take-home final exam, which also doubles as your passport assignment. I'll go over this a little better in class, because some of you have probably done a passport assignment by now, but most of you probably haven't. A passport assignment is a part of the Common Core curriculum, which has all of your core classes doing assignments that connect with each other. These are just basic, simple assignments that are designed to show you how all of this knowledge that you're getting out of freshman year connects together. Freshman and sophomore year, however many years. So for Composition 1, your assignment is to follow this writing prompt, write a 500-plus word essay answering this prompt. You don't actually have to do a lot of research or anything, but you can connect it to some of your other core classes. And you will create a portfolio throughout your time at UIW where you collect all of these different assignments, and you have them to look at and see your progress. But you will also turn this in as your final exam by next Wednesday. You will be able to do this assignment on your own. I'm not going to actually have us all meet for the final exam. This will be an essay that you could start today if you wanted to, and you just need to have finished by the 7th. Okay, so I'm going to read through this, and then we should be good to go after that. So, alright, this is both your final exam and your Comp 1 passport assignment. You will turn in the same assignment in both places. You will complete this assignment independently. We will not meet for on the final exam day. Write a 500-plus word essay answering the following prompt. It's 10 years from now, and you've made your way in the world. You've graduated and been successful in your endeavors. You've been invited to be the commencement speaker at your old high school's graduation. As you leave, one recent graduate stops you and tells you they are thinking of not going to college. What would you tell them about college that you think they need to know before making this decision? Try not to assume any inherent good in any one path. Do not consider your own feelings about it. think about your own path so far and what you think on the subject. Use your own views as a guide in how you speak about how you speak about it. I didn't write this, by the way. If you've written other Passport assignments in your courses, consider incorporating any relevant ideas that might be helpful in saying what you need to say. This is not required, but will help you to make further connections with your other core courses. Some examples of questions to pursue might be Introduction to Philosophy. The Passport assignment for them is talking about the Plato's Cave allegory. So how does what you've discussed regarding Plato's Cave relate to what one knows 10 years later in life? How do the questions of relating experience and vision to others emerge when considering how and why you might tell someone about college as an experience? How and why? Okay. Religion. In thinking about your college experience, what role does the idea of incarnation play? How does love as a motivation or concept relate to how you relay information to others? Finish this assignment and turn it in by Wednesday, December 7th. Make sure to submit this same essay as your Comp 1 Passport assignment. And we'll talk about how to do that in class while we're doing the presentations as well. So, yeah, again, you're just imagine you are in 10 years in the future. Someone asks you, you've been really successful, but somebody asks you, should I go to college or not? And you have to give them advice. And, yeah, if you want to, you can say, no, I don't have a dog in this fight. It's fine. But just do a good job of explaining yourself and your reasoning and, yeah, why or why not they should, or what circumstances do you think they should go to college under, and what circumstances should they not choose to go to college under. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions about any of these, send me an email and I will answer them as soon as I can. I believe that's it. I will see all of you guys on Monday. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, see you guys then.